Hi Phil, thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Oh, you're welcome, Monique.
What we wanted to talk about today was what exactly is hypnotherapy?
Well, hypnotherapy is a state of deep relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
In this deep, relaxed state, we can talk to deep levels of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk to the subconscious, that part of the mind that normally people are unaware of. We can bring back memories that they've forgotten. We can bring up deep psychological motives, and we can access different parts of a person's character.
Mm-hmm.
People think that they're an integrated whole and that they do things with a single-mindedness of purpose. But you only have to look at people who say want to stop smoking. There's a part of them that wants to stop smoking, but there's a part of them that wants to keep on smoking.
Mm-hmm.
So in hypnotherapy, we can talk to these different parts and we can bring out different characteristics. There's a lot of different tools we can use once people get into that hypnotic state. But hypnosis isn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
People remember, they're aware of what's happening. And often, I'd say probably in about 20% of people, they're not even aware that they've been hypnotised. And I've had many times when people come in to stop smoking,
Yeah.
they're convinced at the end of it that they weren't even hypnotised, and then they come back the following day, because we do a follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, well, I don't know what you did, I just haven't smoked.
Mm.
So people don't even have to know that they are hypnotised. There are things we can do which will prove it and convince the person that they are being hypnotised. But it's not sleep, and people sometimes get confused with this because they think that, for instance, if they've got anxiety or depression or they want to stop smoking or any of these things, they're going to come in, they think they're going to be put to sleep, wake up and their problem's going to be solved. But it doesn't work like that.
Okay. So it's not like what you see on TV and in movies?
Well, some of the movies sometimes are often well off mark. TV with the stage hypnotist, they've got a specific way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
We do use some of their techniques, but of course the stage hypnotists select their I was going to say their victims, select the people they have, and they only select people who are very easily hypnotisable, and also have this element of wanting to show off.
Mm-hmm.
So they do it in front of a TV, in front of an audience.
Okay.
Of course we don't get that choice, we take whoever comes in through the door.
So generally will people do things that they don't want to do, or?
No, we can't. And I often say to people, because you're aware of what's going on, and I sort of say to people at the end, you know, if I'd said anything you really didn't like, you could have just got out of the chair and walked out, and they
Yeah.
agree. I mean, I never do that, obviously, because we're working with the client.
Yeah.
People come in for hypnotherapy because they have a problem and they want to work together to get that problem resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And we do get a very good success in resolving these problems.
Okay. So what kind of problems do you deal with?
Smoking, of course, everybody knows that hypnosis is very good for smoking, and I think we're going to be dealing with that in a later
Mm-hmm.
session. Anxiety and depression, very common nowadays. People get caught up in their own thoughts, they get caught up in ways of thinking about things, and what we've got to do is what we call reframing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to change those habits. Weight loss, we've got a very different approach to weight loss than anything you've probably seen.
Is it like a diet?
No, it's not a diet. When people do our weight loss program, they have a different approach to eating, a different attitude towards food, towards their body, and so on. So again, I think we'll be dealing with that at a different time. You'll be amazed at some of the things that come through the door. Some of them are, I mean, how many people come in and they say, well, I don't think you've ever seen this before, I must be unique. And I'm thinking, well, I've seen this probably 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of very different problems that people have. People losing things, bad habits, and not just smoking and weight loss. Now biting, we do very successfully.
And phobias and...
Phobias, and you'll be amazed at some of the phobias that come in.
Mm.
You know, people will be afraid of very strange things. We also deal with relationship issues, of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Yeah.
And again, we deal with them in a very different way, because relationships are about habits. People get into a habit in a relationship. So what we do is we look at those habits,
Mm-hmm.
and we get people to reassess how they're responding, how they feel. And so they find that they behave in different ways, and again we'll be looking at that in a later section.
Sure. Do you change your approach for children as well?
We deal with children very successfully. Children are very easy to hypnotise. They love the imagination and the fantasy and going off into storytelling and so on. So we can do it very successfully. One of the things we have a lot of good success with is bullying.
Okay.
And with bullying, you see the approach of the schools is generally to deal with the bullies, but they're often not very successful with that, and sometimes they don't even have the motivation. With bullying, we deal with the person being bullied.
Okay.
And we change their approach so that the bully, they're just not bothered. It's like it goes off like water off the duck's back. Most of bullying, particularly among girls, but even among boys, is verbal. It's very rare that it actually comes to blows. And even when it does, when people change their approach to the bullies go away. They find somebody who they think is an easier target.
Typical, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you in another segment.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.